Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. We are hearing that Radio Silence may not be able to direct Scream 7, at least not next year as the date that we think it's supposed to be coming out. Now I know that Scream 5 came out in the beginning of 2022. Scream 6 came out around about the beginning, March 2023, so you would expect Scream 7, if it follows that trend, to come out maybe in March as well, maybe a little bit after that if you want to give it a few months more. But if you look at the trend of the first original Scream movies, December 1996, December 1997, and then February 2000. So there was a little bit of a gap between 2 and 3, and maybe we will see that if Radio Silence are going to be directing it. So first of all, why wouldn't they be able to direct it? Well, they've got 2 movies that they're set to direct upcoming, and if they direct these 2 movies back to back, or at least one after the other, then if they do want to direct Scream 7, then it won't be till later on in the future. They've got an untitled monster movie coming out shortly, and I think it's this month possibly that they're going over to Ireland to start filming that movie. So that movie may come out 2024. And they're also directing, or they're supposed to be directing, Escape from New York, which probably wouldn't come out for another couple of years after that. But there is time in between if they want to direct Scream 7 in between that, unless there's a schedule in place for Escape from New York. So there's so many possibilities and scenarios for them to direct Scream 7, but also not to direct Scream 7. Now, I've not given myself much time to think about this, but who would I want to replace Radio Silence if Radio Silence don't direct Scream 7? Well, there's only one name on my mind that I think has the capability not only to direct a competent sequel to what they've created so far, but obviously someone that can come in and know the franchise, know the movies, and that is none other than Kevin Williamson. Now, Kevin Williamson has directed before. I'm sure he directed Teaching Mrs. Tingle from 1999. I think he has. That was a decent film. He also writes a lot of really good films as well, and I think if he came on board to write and direct Scream 7, I would be on board with that. I think he's the most competent person. Like I said, I haven't thought of anyone else just now. Maybe more names will come to me, and that's what I want you to tell me as well. Leave down below who you think could or should direct Scream 7. If Radio Silence can't direct Scream 7 and they don't have the right timing in place, I don't think I would mind if they didn't direct it, whether it be Kevin Williamson or not. I don't think I would mind that. Now, Scream 5 was competently made and it was a really good film. Scream 6 was also competently made, but I don't think it was quite a really good film. I'm still on that bandwagon of thinking Scream 6 is one of the worst films in the franchise. Still a good film, don't get me wrong, but it is one of the worst ones in the franchise. So I think if Radio Silence didn't direct it, Scream 7, then it would be a fresh take for me because I've seen what Radio Silence can do. And if they did direct Scream 7, I would be okay with it. I think they would probably redeem themselves from Scream 6 because you can't get any worse than what they've done with Scream 6. In terms of writing, again, that's not all on Radio Silence, but I think if someone else came in, I would be happy with it. If Radio Silence still done it, I would still be okay with it. Now, what we have to look at now is when the movie would come out. Well, if Radio Silence directed the film, it could go one of 2 ways. It could be sandwiched in between the monster movie and Escape from New York. So you could be looking at maybe 2025, 2026 for a release for Scream 7. Or if they still wanted to direct it, but they had to wait until those 2 movies were done, then you might not be looking at a release until 2027, possibly 2028. That might be too long a gap for a Scream film, so if they did want to direct it, they'd have to do it sooner rather than later. And if the producers at Paramount want Scream 7 to come out very soon after Scream 6, then you can guarantee that Radio Silence won't be involved in Scream 7. I think though, if Paramount do want a quick release on this, I think we could be looking as early as next year, December 2024. That would coincide with the release of Scream 1 and Scream 2 having December releases, and it would only make sense if they still follow that trend, if they want to bring Scream out very soon after Scream 6. I don't think we're going to get a March 2024 release. That would be a complete stretch. If they want to give it the same amount of time between 5 and 6, I don't think they would do that either, because that would be summer 2024, and we know that all the big blockbuster movies come out in the summer. I think only The Conjuring has been able to tackle those big blockbuster movies back in 2013. No other horror movie really does that well, especially a film like Scream wanted to outdo its predecessor. So I think the best option would be bring it out Halloween time, possibly 2024, but I think December 2024 would be that sweet spot, and if it is, you can say goodbye to radio silence. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? A couple of questions for you. When do you think Scream 7 will come out? When do you think it should come out? Because that's two different things. Who do you think will direct it? Would you like Radio Silence to come on board? And if they're not on board, or if you don't mind them not being there, who do you want to direct Scream 7? As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!
Wolfman's got